Auckland Wetex Kang, a Malay-Chinese immigrant beekeeper, may be the first Asian candidate to represent the Maori Party of New Zealand, but at times he sounds more like a certain US president. Tamiti Centre, a Maori nationalist activist, encouraged Wetex Kang to run for office. Here he attends a debate between candidates for the House of Representatives in Auckland. Photo New York Times. "I think we can make this country great again," he said last month while driving through the electoral district of Botany in Auckland. That phrasing is intentional. Kang says he admires President Donald Trump's brash ability to grab attention. Like Trump, Kang is a political newcomer who at times says exactly what he is thinking. And Kang calls himself a semi-self-made millionaire who believes the country should be run like a business. But when it comes to policy, his vision of national greatness sounds decidedly different. Him standing for a true voice for immigrants. "I stand for bridging the inequality in this country, and helping the Tangata Whenua realize their true potential," Kang, 44, said, using the Maori word for the original inhabitants of New Zealand. For the Maori Party, Kang's candidacy for a seat in the House of Representatives, which will be put to a vote Saturday, is an attempt to see if the party can attract the support of a group outside New Zealand's mostly white political establishment, the Chinese community. Kang is campaigning on a platform that promises to address concerns over racial discrimination and tightening immigration policies. And backed by a famous but controversial activist in the Maori nationalism movement, Tamiti, Kang's campaign could be the beginning of a partnership between some of the country's oldest and newest ethnic communities. While that alliance may sound unusual, Marama Fox, a co-leader of the Maori Party, which was formed in 2004 to represent indigenous interests, said that its endorsement of Kang made sense because of the widely shared genealogy. Wetex Kang, standing, a Malay-Chinese immigrant beekeeper, is hoping for the support of Chinese and Maori voters. Photo New York Times. "We've done DNS studies from the Pacific. They link us to Taiwan, to Easter Island," she said. She also said that Kang's outsider candidacy demonstrated the traditional Maori value of manaki tanga, in which newcomers are treated with warmth and hospitality. Wetex Kang arrives next to a campaign signs for the Maori Party in Auckland. Photo New York Times. Maria Barg, a political scientist at Victoria University of Wellington, said that, in political terms, Kang's candidacy was an intriguing strategy for a party that received only 1.3% of the vote in the last general election. "They're looking for new places to get some votes, basically," she said. In many ways, Kang reflects the amalgam of the multicultural immigrant experience. Born in a fishing village in Malaysian Borneo, he emigrated first to Australia, then to New Zealand as a student with his sister. After graduating with a degree in pharmacology, he worked as a life coach and a nutritionist, and he now has a beekeeping business. He married a white New Zealander, and their 2 children have Chinese middle and last names. Before he arrived in Australia, he said, he did not speak any English. He first met E.T. while working as a nutritionist, helping the Maori activist lose weight and become half the man he was, Kang joked. This year, Kang casually broached to E.T. the idea of joining the Maori Party. A week later, at his urging, he found himself in a candidate training workshop preparing for his first political campaign. E.T.'s support has been crucial to Kang's candidacy. While a respected figure in the Maori community, others see E.T. as a radical. In 2007, he was arrested in an anti-terrorism raid and later convicted of illegal firearms possession. "It's always been on my bucket list," Kang said of his entry into politics. But his lack of traditional experience has been apparent. Before an August debate that included Chinese representatives from the National, Labour and People's parties, his plan was to provoke his 2 opponents to help them be better politicians. During the event, Kang ignored conventional debate structures. He directed questions at the crowd, confronted the assembled politicians about their governing records, and was chastised by moderators for speaking out of turn. At one point, he pulled a bemused E.T. on stage to make a point about unity, before E.T. retreated amid protest from the other representatives, the moderators and the audience. "I was not there to debate," Kang said as he drove home afterward in a car stuffed with campaign signs. "I was there to be memorable. How that memorability will pay off is uncertain." While Kang is drawing attention, not all of it is positive. Last week, an inquiry by the Electoral Commission cleared him of allegations that his campaign bribed voters with online cash credits. He said the allegations were a smear campaign by people he had turned down for his campaign team. Analysts do not give Kang much of a chance to win. But should he succeed, the Maori Party would be well placed to benefit from his ties to the Asian community, which is becoming an increasingly powerful voting bloc. According to the latest New Zealand census, the Chinese population has grown 16% since 2006. 2/3 of them live in Auckland, and the Botany electorate, which Kang hopes to represent, is almost 40% Asian, the highest percentage of Asian residents in the country. Maori and Pacific Island people make up 18% of residents there. According to one government projection, New Zealand's Asian population will overtake the Maori in about 20 years. David Soh, editor of Mandarin Pages, a Chinese-language newspaper in Auckland, said that New Zealand's Prime Minister, Bill English, had already visited his office twice this election cycle, a demonstration of the growing influence of Chinese voters. Kang has generated a lot of interest in the community, Soh said. Immigration, economic growth, those are the Asian values, he said, adding that this is a very innovative thing for Maori. Even politicians from other parties have been supportive of Kang's campaign, possibly because they do not see him as a threat. This is a good try on his behalf, Raymond Huo, a lawmaker with the Labour Party, said before the debate last month. But for Kang to win, he added, it would be magical, a miracle. New York Times.